It was a big hearing last night. Let's talk about it. Bring in ABC's Zohreen Shah and Kimberly Wehle, who's the law professor at American University and an ABC News legal contributor. So, Zohreen, first of all, just break down. Yeah, it was dramatic last night. Those 187 minutes between the beginning of the attack on the Capitol and when Donald Trump finally calls them off. What were the main moments, and what did it feel like?
It was really dramatic. I mean, you could see it from Rachel Scott's piece, some of those really tense moments. And even in the room, our reporter Will Staken was in there. He said it got really quiet. The moment when you could see those rioters clashing with those police officers, some of those police officers, those Capitol police officers, were sitting in that room and watching, and they were silent. And they watched that entire time. They did not take their eyes away from that screen. And one of them, finally, when it was over, he wiped his brow in just disbelief. The others, Will said, they were just watching the entire thing, almost like they were in a trance.
Terrible memories for them. And Kim, I want to ask you, given what we've learned about Donald Trump's actions or the lack of action that day during the siege, how do you read what last night's hearing did for a potential legal case to prosecute him that the Attorney General is looking at right now?
Well, dereliction of duty is a military concept. It's not actually a legal criminal concept. So I don't think last night we saw anything new in terms of potential charges against Donald Trump. But I do think the overall narrative, the suggestion that somehow there isn't criminal intent on the part of the president, which would require him knowing that the election was for Joe Biden and nonetheless taking steps to snatch it from the voters, to unlawfully interfere with that. I really think last night sort of put the nail in that coffin. That is pretty clear. We don't have all the evidence, but pretty clear there's more than ample evidence to make a case that Donald Trump committed crimes against the United States in going to these lengths, in stoking the mob, and then sitting for over 3 hours where people were begging him to step in. I think Adam Kinzinger made a good point. It's not that he didn't do anything. He was with the mob. He wanted to see this violence and only backed off, it looks like, once it was clear that law enforcement was coming in, notwithstanding his refusal or failure to tap into them under his Article 2 mandate prerogative to take care that the laws are faithfully executed.
So if I can just follow up, if you're thinking like a prosecutor, like the Attorney General might be, to see if there is a case there might be motive evidence or intent, I suppose. Intent is obviously the motive, is you want to stay in power, but the intent might be proved or helped to be proved by that outtake from the video where he says, "I don't want to say it's over." Would that be part of a case against him?
Correct, because his defense would be, well, I believed that the election was stolen and other people were taking actions. I wasn't aware of it. All I did was exercise my First Amendment rights in making a speech on the Mall. This is typical Donald Trump, no fingerprints, no trail. I think Liz Cheney made an excellent point, though. She borrowed from another criminal concept. She talked about this being premeditated, which of course we think of as associated with murder as distinct from other forms of homicide. But I think her point was specific and deliberate. That is, he knew what he was doing. He knew all along. It's a planning, it's an execution, it's a cover up, and then it's the big lie ever since then, hammering home this point. And she also made this excellent point that, listen, the people that were there were arguably patriots. They loved their country and they loved their president, and that his actions manipulated that patriotism to the point where it almost brought American democracy itself to its knees, but for a few heroic people, including Mike Pence and his Secret Service staff. And also, I think just some old-fashioned luck, Terry. The problem is, for all Americans, that this could happen again. In this moment, nothing really has been in place to not have this happen successfully down the road. And that's what we all have to keep our eye on as Americans, regardless of whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. This needs to be stopped in its tracks right now.
No question. I think one of the things we've learned is it was a close-run thing that day for American democracy. And Zohreen, we also learned that there are going to be more hearings in September. So where's the committee going from here?
Yeah, Terry, before this started, I told you my takeaway, right? 4 words. This is not over. It's not over for the committee, certainly not for Donald Trump. We saw some of his reaction last night. But the committee says, Chairman Thompson says, more hearings in September, key word being hearings, plural. So we'll see at least 2. And then there's an interim report that will be released during that time. The hearings will likely revolve around that report. The interesting thing between now and then, just keep your eyes on the Justice Department. Will they press charges against Donald Trump or anyone in his inner circle? We already know there's an investigation in Georgia and Fulton County against those 16 fake electors, right, who voted for Donald Trump even when Joe Biden won in that state. So what can we expect from the Justice Department? That will be interesting to see.
And Merrick Garland, a methodical prosecutor, so it may take a while, but we'll see. Zohreen, thanks very much. Kimberly Wehle, thanks very much as well for that.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.